business, you're not going to get a lot of, you will if you get in that market, but 80% of your business is that $200 policy. That's why we talk about that.
So much.
Okay? So that's what I'm going to, so the brand new guy sitting in front of me, I shared them this. There's three tax boxes. There's 3 places to put your money. Okay? There's tax now. There's tax later. And there's tax exempt, also known as tax never, right? If I gave you $10,000 right now and I asked you, do you want me to charge you to pay, have you pay taxes now, later, or never? What are you going to tell me?
Never.
Never, right? But most people don't know this, and we're going to go over that in a few minutes. Tax now is where most people put their money in the banks, checking accounts, savings accounts. You know what a CD is? Money market, mutual funds, stocks. Any information that I go with you today, go through everything, we do everything, so we base it on financial education. We believe that if people have the right foundation of money and how money works, they can make the right decisions. So it's not like one is good, one is bad. You just have to know your options. You follow me? So when people put their money in banks, checking, savings, CDs, all that, what's the average rate of return in the savings right now? 0.1, right? Let's round it off to less than 1%. Okay, there's something called the rule of 72 that shows how many years, that tells you how many years it takes for your money to compound and double. That's the reason people put their money in investment vehicles. They want to know, hey, where can I put my money, have it grow, right, pay the least amount of taxes, right, but I want that money to compound very fast. So rule of 72 tells you how many years it takes for your money to compound. So with that example of that $10,000, if you're getting a 1% return, you divide 1 into 72, and what's that, 72? It takes 72 years for your money to compound one time. Wow. So when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, nobody knows this information. The cost of inflation is 4%. So 4 divided by 72 is what? 18. So that same money takes 18 years to double. So some people say, hey, if I get a 4%, I'm good, but good compared to what?
Right.
You follow me? So you have to outbeat inflation. So our goal is to find a vehicle that we can outpace that, get a higher return for our money. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Great. So tax later, it's a 401k. Are you familiar with a 401k?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have one?
No. Not anymore.
No? Not anymore? Okay. You had one before?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Did you lose a lot of money in it?
Yeah.
You did, right? Most families are relying on their 401ks for their retirement because they're believing that old story that, in my opinion, doesn't work anymore. Go to school, get a good job, put your money in your pension, 401k, and when you retire, you'll get a great retirement and you can live off of that. That story doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Right? In most families, they have this. So I'm going to teach you some of the rules. We do 401ks for companies, right? But the only difference is we go out and educate the families on the rules of the 401ks that most people don't know. When they get a job, they give them an option to put money in their 401ks, right? But nobody reads the big book that they give you with all the rules and the taxes and all those stuff that go along with it. They don't get educated. They go to their employee who works with them and they say, hey, where are you putting your money? Where are you putting your money? They don't get the right financial advice with someone licensed like us, right? So 401ks fall into that. IRAs fall into that. SEP IRAs fall into that. Pensions, right? If someone had a pension, right? And then here, there's annuities as well. The rules. There's rules to all of these retirement programs. The first rule is the 59.5 rule. You can't access your money till the age of 59.5. If you do before, you get a 10% penalty. Some people know this. They're like, oh, it's fine. I'll just pull money out. I'll get a 10% penalty. I won't feel it, which is completely wrong. Outside of that 10% penalty, you get between 25 to 40% tax, right? And that's depending on what tax bracket you're in, right? So that's a lot of taxes to pay. So most people don't know that. The second rule is the 70.5 rule. 70.5 rule, your boss isn't going to call you, the IRS isn't going to call you, HR is not going to call you and say, hey, you're almost 70.5, you're still at your job, right? But you have to start withdrawing your money, taking withdrawals. It's called required minimum distributions. If you don't do it, if you don't access your money till the age of 70.5, you get taxed 50%. 50% of your retirement will be gone.
Wow.
right? And most people don't know these rules. They think they're just putting money and we're going to have a retirement if we stay at this job. First of all, a job isn't guaranteed.
Right.
Okay? You can get laid off tomorrow, right? And you won't have that. In 2008, the market went down. Millions of families lost their nest eggs in their 401ks. The downfall of a 401k, first of all, is that you have no floor. Market goes up, you have access to getting the returns, but market goes down, you're back to zero, and you have to start rebuilding your nest egg all over again. That's what happened in 2008. None of our clients lost money in their 401ks in 2008 because we made sure we got them protected, right? So when people right now, you know people who got laid off?
Yes.
They're getting laid off as we speak. Millions of families are getting laid off from their jobs, right? Nothing's guaranteed. And they're sitting on their money from old 401ks from old companies, not knowing what to do with it. They think, oh, it's just sitting there, I'm good, I can't even touch it till the age of 59 and a half. No, we roll it over to a fixed index annuity. What that gives us, that's a 2-minute conversation that we say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, you just left your job, you got laid off, you retired, and you got $200,000 sitting in your 401k. Do you want to lose that money? No, of course not. Well, every day you're putting it into chance that market goes up. But guess what? Market goes down. You can lose that $200,000 that you worked 30 years at that job for. I can show you how to protect that money, still have access to the market, and potentially get guaranteed lifetime income. How would you like that? Without losing a penny of your $200,000. They'll be like, yeah, right? That's a rollover. It's called 401k rollover to a fixed index annuity. Okay? There's so many people in that position right now who just need to know, right? They can't roll it over if they're still at their job. Okay? So if they're still at their job, they're still putting money in there. So what tax later means that all of these programs are going tax deferred. That means they're allowing you to put your money, not get taxed on it, but eventually in any of these vehicles, you will get taxed on your money. So if I give you a seed and I tell you to plant this seed and let it harvest, and I'm going to tax you when it gets harvested, is that when you want to pay taxes, or in the beginning when it's the penny seed? In the beginning, right? But this is not the case in these programs. Then we got tax exempt. The first product is a Roth IRA. It's an individual retirement account, right? This is a regular one, which is taxed later. This is the Roth. Roth IRA, if you're married, the most you can put in there is $10,500 a year. If you're single, the most you can put is $5,500 a year. You cannot exceed an income of $125,000 income to qualify. So if you make over $125,000, some people don't qualify. There's good and there's bad in these vehicles. So not bad, but depending on what's more suitable for the client, right? So some people don't like it because they're like, hey, I'm single. I want to be able to put over $5,500 a year. If I want to have like a great retirement and I want to build a lot of wealth and become financially independent, I want to be able to put more in my bucket of retirement, right? So you can't do that. You still don't have access to your money till the age of 59 and a half. So these rules apply in there. But when you do access your money at the age of 59 and a half, you don't pay taxes on the money that you take out. So it's not how much money you make and accumulate, it's how much of it you actually keep and take home. So you can build $1 million in here, but you're not going to take home $1 million at retirement. You're going to end up paying a lot of taxes. Are taxes going up in the future, or is it going down? It's going up, right? The president isn't going to change that. The government isn't going to, nobody. You have to take control of your own retirement in your future and have your own game plan, not rely on your job or anyone else for your retirement, especially nothing's secure right now, right? So here it works like that. So you can't access it, but you don't get taxed when you pull the money out. Now this one, when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, everybody I know needs to know this. There's something called Index Universal Life. Are you guys familiar with life insurance?
Yes.
What about IULs? No? Yes? Most people I sit down with, they're like, I never heard about this. I'm going to explain to you. It's a permanent cash value life insurance. There's an IRS tax code of 7702 that says any money that you build within a permanent cash value life insurance, right? There's a savings vehicle inside this retirement vehicle. Let's say you get a life insurance policy. Let's say you have a life insurance for $500,000. There's different types of life insurances. So most people think that life insurance is just for death, But life insurance is where the most wealthy people protect their money from taxes. Okay? Wealthy people know where to put their money and not get taxed on it. Middle class people just do the same old thing that everyone's doing. That's not working right now. Right? So in these vehicles, your money grows tax deferred just like your money is growing in a 401k. Right? You don't have any of those rules. There's no 59.5 rule. There's no state tax, federal tax, 70.5 rule, none of that. You have access to your money. So the awesome thing is you have accessibility to your money. So this is like owning a home. Have you guys owned a home? You know, there's equity in a home.
Right.
You can build equity in a home. So here, you can build your equity in your home. It's a permanent policy that never runs out. It's for 120 years. Right? You build equity, you build in cash value, you're getting between 1 to 15% return. So you remember earlier when I mentioned you have to outpace 4% and then take in mind of taxes. Here, your money is growing without taxes. You have access through your money through policy loans, tax-free, that you don't have to pay back. It's your own money. It's equity. Your money is compounding on compound interest. The average return right now is between 7 to 10%. Right? Awesome is that. So your money is doubling every 8 to 10 years now.
Right.
So you got compound interest working in your favor now. Having access, pulling out your money. This is like a Ferrari of all investment vehicles. So the more money you dump into it, the more money you're going to potentially have when you want to pull your money out for retirement. So this, what I call personally, is called tax-free retirement. How many people want to know about tax-free retirement? I think everybody wants to know where to put your money, grow it, not pay taxes, right? And I could have $1 million nest egg in here, tax-free. So if I build $1 million in there, at the age of 60, I pull out my money. I'm not taking home $1 million. But guess what? If I built $1 million in here, I'm taking it home tax-free. Right? Wealthy people, like I mentioned, this is a tax shelter. IUL is a tax shelter, right? And there are like people say all the time to me, hey, why don't we know about this? Because the middle class people are not educated on money. That's where we go out and help the community and bring this awareness out. Now in life insurance, then when I share this, someone says, hey, I have an old policy, like in whole life, right? This is a whole life policy. In life insurance, there's many types of life insurances. Term, it's whole life. There's universal life. And there's IUL, what I mentioned right now. I'm going to give you a quick review on what life insurance is, right? So you guys understand. There's term. Term is like renting a home. Okay, you guys remember the old flip phones? Yep. This is a flip phone. After the flip phone, there was the iPhone 2, iPhone 3. I used that analogy. This is the iPhone 3. After renting a home, you own it, right? So here, these are the permanent policies that came out. So in these policies, that investment vehicle's in there, the savings vehicle, they're not getting much, between 1 to 2% fixed, right? So you're not building a lot of equity in your home right there, which is whole life, universal life. Most companies, I came from Farmers. I was there for a couple of years. So if you go to Farmers, State Farm, Allstate, MetLife, all those companies, they don't have that one. Right? They mostly they're doing the old two-step from the 80s, like a term policy, a whole life, universal life. They're not innovative. So the awesome thing about our company is that we have the power of choice. We have access to everything. So when there's new stuff coming out, we got it. Guess what just came out? The iPhone 7, right? There's the iPhone 7. It's very simple. Do you want a flip phone? Do you want that old iPhone 3 that my son has? Actually, I got to upgrade it, right? And now I'm upgrading it to what? An iPhone 7. Insurance and investment vehicles work the same way. You just have to be with a company with this type of magnitude, what we have, to be accessible to getting the best stuff, right? And guess what? There's people with old policies right there. When they see that iPhone 7, we can upgrade them to that. Awesome. 8 out of 10 families that we sit down with have that old iPhone. It's an oil change. How would you like to get more benefits from the existing policy that you have? Great, I could put you in there without any penalties, without any taxes, and give you something better and potentially make more money for your retirement. Very simple, right? So when I do this, most people will say, hey, I'm already putting like $300 a month in there. Well, you can stop putting money in there, right? Depending on if they're insurability, if they're in good health, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? And then we reallocate that $200-300 that they're already putting somewhere in here. I can put a game plan together for you that you can put money in here $300 a month. You can stop putting money at the age of 65. You can't stop putting money in these policies. If you miss a payment, you're done in the whole life policies. These have flexibility, accessibility, tax-free retirement, more potential to growth. Market goes down, you get a guaranteed 0.75%, almost 1%, even if the market goes down, right? But market goes up, you can get up to 15% return, right? So out of everything I said, what intrigued you the most? This. Great. How much are you already saving in these programs? You had mentioned you're putting $300. I could put a game plan together for you to put $300 a month, stop at the age of 65, and get income tax-free for the rest of your life. How would you like that? Great.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where I sell this. And when I say here, most people are putting money. Would you like to put money with the IRS or the INS? Because that's where the banks are putting your money. Banks take your money, they invest your money into insurance because of that tax code. They make money off of your money, right? And they go back and give you that 1%, and they just made 10 times the amount, right?
Wow.
So where do you want to put your money? In the bank or where the bank puts your money? Because I just showed you how to do that, right? So very simple. How long did that take?
15 minutes.
Okay, you can stop that.